Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. If you remember, yesterday I talked about how New York City's governor, or New York State's governor, Andrew Cuomo, was trying to go after gun manufacturers and how that was a sign that a lot of the anti-gunners are panicking because they know they got to come up with other ways to kind of circumvent the Second Amendment because actually attacking people's rights to own firearms is not working. It's being overturned in the courts. Well, today I want to talk about just such another occurrence. I want to talk about how San Jose has been making a concentrated effort to stop people from being able to buy guns in that area and in the state in general. They want this to spread to everywhere in the state. What they passed is, I don't know if it's an ordinance or an executive order or whatever it is. I'm not sure how you do that at the city level through the city council. But they passed something that says if you buy a gun, you're going to have to pay a tax on that gun. And that tax is going to be based on how much they feel that the state pays for prevention of and reaction to gun crime. Basically, they're going to add up, actually having this liberal institution that does these nonsensical studies, decide that, oh, it's this many billions or millions a year, and then they're going to divide that up among how many average gun sales they have. And a lot of people that I saw analyzing this the other day came to the conclusion that the tax itself could end up being more than the gun. Now, they said up front, like, oh, it'll only be like 10 or 20%, but that's not determined yet. In other words, this is a bunch of bullshit we're feeding you, 10 or 20%. And even a 20% tax on a lot of guns, that's a big increase in price on a gun. That stops a lot of people from buying that gun. Also, they don't want to just have a tax. They're also talking about requiring everybody to have a special liability insurance, which could be very spendy. So what this is, what San Jose has effectively done is enact Jim Crow for guns. Like every other pretty much gun law on the books, this is based in the same system of discrimination because most gun laws are racist. The only difference now is it's not delineating on the difference of race. It's saying people who don't own guns and own guns, but actually it's saying poor people, rich people, if you really pay attention, because what they're saying is San Jose, which is one of the richest cities in the country. In fact, I think it might be the richest city in the country. The wealthy people that live there, they're not going to care about a 20% increase on a gun or even a 30% increase on a gun. They already have umbrella policies for liability, so it's not going to affect them. They're not going to care. They're still going to own guns. But the poor people, the people who can barely eke out a living because the cost of living there is so high, which is 80% of the people in the area, they're not going to be able to buy anything. They're not going to be able to afford that big tax. They're not going to be able to afford insurance. So what they're doing is making sure poor people in this really rich city can't afford firearms, which has been the goal of a lot of politicians for a long time, that only the elite and the special, the ones that should be in power, are in power and should stay in power. Those are the only ones that should be allowed to own firearms. And this is a perfect example of that. So don't let anybody fool you. This hasn't got nothing to do with about the cost. This has got about making poor people not be able to buy guns. And that is discriminatory. Now, the one good thing about this rule is I saw several pundits, I guess you would say, lawyers, 3 of which were very conservative, 3 of which were pretty liberal. And the only thing they really agreed on completely was that this will not stand up in court, that everything they've done is basically illegal. You can't take, like the police, that's the main cost of enforcing these gun laws and stuff. And the main cause of gun crimes and cost for gun crimes is gangs. So you can't put a special tax on select people to cover something that's already covered by taxes in the state. So it's not going to stand legally, period. The first time someone challenges it, it's going to fall. They agreed that these city council people, they want to move up to like governor and potentially senators and things like that. So it's just politics they're playing right now, but they're playing it with gun owners' rights. So this is very egregious, and I want people to pay attention to this. Like I say, it's not something I'm saying worry about because, like I said, all of them agreed this is going to fall pretty quickly, and it's pretty egregious. But another thing they did that kind of slipped under the radar I want to talk about is they made it, before they signed this thing, they made it to where all gun sales in their area, in their city, has to be video and audio taped by the seller. That's actually the rule now. Talk about an invasion of privacy. That seems like a blatant invasion of people's privacy there. And here's the thing, I bet you they don't have the same requirements if law enforcement wants to go in and seize videotapes from a dealer as they do if they want to go in and seize 4473s, which are federal documents. They'd have to have a good reason to want to go in and see 4473s. The videotape, I bet they can just say, we have a suspicion and we want those videos, which could make it very easy for them to intimidate and harass anyone who purchases a firearm and know who purchases a firearm, what they purchased, etc. It's basically a videotape registration of every person in the area that buys a gun. So not very well veiled there, what that is. So I just wanted people to pay attention to these things that are going on, like I said, in San Jose, because one, they're very egregious. I feel sorry for people who live in that area, although most people live in that area or, know where they live. And it's, like I said, one of the richest places in the country. And the people who are rich don't want poor people having rights. And the people that are there that are working class, they barely get by, so they can't really fight these things very well. But like I said, I don't think this stuff's going to stand up in court, but I just want people to be aware of what's going on out there. Mainly because I want you to almost take glee in it, because every time they do something like this that's doomed to fail, and they know it's doomed to fail, it's them grasping. They're going down for the third time, and they're reaching for that life preserver because the anti-gunners know they're losing. They know they can't go out and just say, we're going to ban all guns or we're going to do this, because they know it's going to go to court. It's going to get slapped down. And they're going to be further back than they were before they started, because they're going to get shoved way back, and they're going to lose a lot of the things that they already have on the books. Because when they try to make these grand overreaches and it gets slapped down, it very seldom just slaps down that. It slaps down all the other things that are associated with it. So they are trying other ways to attack the Second Amendment without actually attacking the Second Amendment. They're trying to make it about, liability for crimes in New York. And in San Jose, they're trying to make it about, people got to pay for this, all this police protection and all this cost. Aren't these the same people that were saying they want to reduce the police budget, but now they're saying they want to create this all new tax to fund more police activity? So hypocritical bullshit out of both sides of their mouths, if you know what I'm talking about. But like I said, pay attention, be aware of these threats, and be aware that they're changing their game. Assault weapons bans, things like that aren't things we have to worry about as much anymore, because they just look like they're less and less likely to be able to be successful. But they're going to not give up. Bloomberg makes a lot of money off being anti-gun. A lot of these people make a lot of money off being anti-gun. You know how I tell you all the time, a lot of the gun channels, they just make money off of stirring up trouble and stirring up fear. Well, the anti-gunners are the same. They're not altruistic. They make money off being anti-gun. You know how much money Gaffy Giffords has made since she got shot and became an activist for anti-gun rights or reasonable gun rights? She's made a fortune. Her husband's made a fortune. They don't get into this because they want to do what's right. They get into it for the money. David Hogg even, the little shaved head lesbian chick, who I can never remember her name. They're in it for fame and money. Even the mother of Tamir Rice says these people aren't fighting for her or Tamir Rice or for justice. She said it's very obvious when they come around, they're there for the cameras. They're only there as long as the cameras are there, and they're only there as long as there's profit to be made. So these anti-gunners are making just as much money off of it as the pro-gun people. And they're panicking. There's two reasons they're panicking. One, the elite are panicking because it's looking less and less likely they're going to be able to keep guns out of the hands of the common man, which is their number one goal politically. And number two, the people like Bloomberg, Giffords, etc., that are making a fortune off being anti-gun, they look like their causes are coming to an end. So they have to find other ways to attack the Second Amendment. And New York and San Jose, those are examples. So like I was saying before I rambled on for a long time here, be aware of what they're doing. It isn't going to be much of a fight to turn it over, but be aware that that fight is coming. And also take heart in the fact that they're panicking. and they're really getting desperate, and it shows. All right, everybody, with that being said, it's time to move on to my favorite part of the show, gun talk. And today I want to answer a question from multiple viewers, but I got the question again yesterday. It's how do you care for titanium cylinders on these lightweight revolvers? I have a few of these guns and I love them. It took me a long time to get to where I would trust scandium and titanium. I'm a stainless steel or carbon steel kind of guy. And I always just felt that these things were not up to par when handling the stresses of being a firearm, basically. But, you know, I've gotten my old brain to accept some new things in my life, and I've started to accept titanium and scandium guns. At least as working guns, because they make such great working guns. But since they are different materials, they require different care. And a lot of people say, well, how do you clean them? How do you keep yours looking brand new? Well, a lot of people know I'm very meticulous about my guns. I keep them looking as good as I can possibly keep them. I want my guns to be well maintained. They're tools. You don't put your tools away greasy or dirty or anything. You take care of them. But the idea that I keep them looking brand new is kind of a falsehood. I mean, I like to try with stainless steel guns, etc. It's kind of possible, but not always totally possible. But with the scandium and stuff, that's an illusion. A lot of people will think I keep it perfect because they'll see my posts on Instagram and they'll be like, wow, you said you just went to the range and that gun looks perfect. Well, it looks perfect because I photoshopped the hell out of it. That's why it looks perfect. If you look at my guns up close, you'll see they're not perfect. As you can clearly see, it is not perfect looking. It's got burn marks on it. It's got rub marks on it. The only place it ever looks brand new is, like I said, on the internet when I'm photoshopping it. It just has a lot of marks on it, and that's because I don't want to have wear on it. I'd rather have burn marks and stuff than wear because the titanium has a coating on it. So I don't really scrub this very much. If you look at the front of it, it's like pure black. So what I do with the cylinder part of this gun after I shoot it, I clean the barrel just like normal because it's stainless steel. But I use a nylon brush to clean out the chambers on the cylinder instead of a wire brush. And then on the actual outside of the cylinder, all I do is I spray it with oil, let it sit for like 10 minutes, and then I just come back with a lint-free cloth and wipe it down. I mean, the only thing you really have to worry about is if you had so much carbon buildup on the front of the cylinder that it somehow started interfering with the forcing cone. Not likely to happen if you wipe it down after you use it every time. So just doing that, just wiping it down, it keeps it nice and flat and clean. It's just not going to look pretty. And you could make it look pretty, but like I say, I think you would cause undue wear on the cylinder. So just remember this, nylon cylinder brush for the, bore brush for the chambers, and then just spray it down with oil and wipe it down. That's all I do. And this gun has never failed me. It's in great condition. Like I say, it doesn't look perfect. It's not totally cleaned off. If this was stainless steel, I could get all that off there and not worry about anything. But since it is titanium and it does have a coating on it, I don't mess with that. I just get it clean. Like I said, don't worry about it looking perfect. When you draw your gun and use it, looks don't mean anything. Maybe it does when you're choosing what you want to carry. But when you're actually using it, you know, a little wear on it doesn't look bad. And it's not necessary to make it look brand new for it to function like it's brand new. So with a carry gun, especially if it's something like this that you can cause excessive wear on by cleaning it too much, just get it to where it is clean and it's not going to malfunction, and that's all you got to do. Looks really don't matter that much, and besides, like I said, even with a little bit of dirt on it, this gun still looks awesome. All right, everybody, I want to end the show today very quickly here by announcing last month's TYM Triple P recipients. We only draw once a month now, so you only have to enter once a month. And the month passed, we've done the drawing. Apparently there were 5 Wednesdays last month, and Wednesday is the draw day, so there's 5 actual recipients for last month instead of 4. So I want to read those names now. The winners are, or recipients are, Amber Eldridge, that's 1. David Galindo, that's 2. Tina Niblet, that's 3. I find it hard to believe that's a real last name. Honey, if that's your birth name, then get married. Change that last name. If it's your married name, get a divorce immediately. But number 3, Tina Niblet. Number 4, Chris Lombach. I think that's how you pronounce that. Lambatch, I don't know how. And number 5 is Glenn Kress. So those are the 5 TYM Triple P recipients. You will have received an email from Vincenzo Lamberto at TYMP Pistol Project. So respond to that email as soon as possible so we can get this stuff taken care of. And congratulations to the recipients. All right, everybody, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you come back again on Monday, because today is Friday. So I hope I'll see you again then. Until then, I'll just sign off as usual by saying, as far as the state of the world today is concerned, you know, it is what it is. It could definitely be a lot worse, but it could be better. And you know what? If we continue to fight smart and hard for our rights in this country, and we start to ignore the fearmongers and the profiteers, the people that want to manipulate you through anger and fear, just so that they can profit off of you and maintain this bubble market that gun manufacturing is enjoying right now, if we continue to ignore those people, or at least start to ignore those people, what things will be in the very near future for people who love the Second Amendment and freedom in general is better.